Hey everybody, just kind of sitting out here in Lanai. I think Sue and the girls, as they're locally called, are having cards today somewhere, and they picked her up earlier and took off. So I thought while I was kind of quiet, it'd be a good time to maybe cut a little news and maybe letters to the editor kind of thing. And first thing, right off the get-go on the news today, sex offender registers permanent address at Stonecrest. Stonecrest is a 55-plus retirement community right next door to the villages. Very close. Half the golf carts you see running around here probably belong in Stonecrest. So the convicted sex offender has registered a permanent address at Stonecrest. William Joseph Cole, 57, has registered an address at 12375 Southeast 176th Street. Isn't there something they could do to make these addresses easier? Loop at the 55-plus community on U.S. Highway 27 and 441, according to the Florida Highway Department of Law Enforcement. He registered the address on July 5th. He was convicted February 1st of sexual imposition, but the FDLE did not specify the jurisdiction in which he had been convicted. He remains under supervision of the Florida Department of Corrections. By the way, beer of the day, as always, Yingling Lager. Sitting out here looking out my screens, I got the Lanai doors slid open. It's a nice day today. I got the fan going up here. You guys probably can't see it, but anyway, it's nice breeze going through here. Temperatures are very, very comfortable. Humidity's high, but it's always high in Florida. Sinkhole at Recreation Center, a stark reminder of risk of building on limestone. Lead story today. This sinkhole actually happened yesterday. By the time you see this, it'll be 2 and 3 days old probably. Because I got a news report late last night, probably, I don't even know what time it was, 6, 7 o'clock maybe, about a sinkhole opening up. Major sinkholes that opened up this past weekend and drained the retention pond behind the Moyer Recreation Center in the village has served as a stark reminder that sinkholes are a fact of life here. Sinkholes can be anywhere in Florida, but the greatest threat is in Central Florida because of the karst limestone environment. There are several influences that increase the risk of sinkholes activity, such as long-term weather conditions, heavy acid rains, a drought-like condition. Sometimes it appears that man-made activities may be the blame. I've noticed that most sinkholes here open up during the rainy season, which makes sense to me. A lot of water washes through the soil, washes things down. If there's a cavity in the limestone somewhere, the ground gives way. And I also noticed that the most sinkholes that do open up, seems like it's always around a big body of water, mostly. Like a pond, a lake, something like that. We've seen more than our share of sinkholes here in Florida's friendliest hometowns. I will say, it does seem like we see more here than anywhere else. And I'm not trying to scare anybody at all. It didn't scare me. I already knew about it. That's why you get sinkhole insurance. But let me just say, and I mentioned it on one of the other videos, I put a little note at the bottom of a video, and I don't know if anybody caught it or not, so I'm just going to say it. When you come down here, when you get insurance on your home, I think state law requires any insurance company working in the state of Florida, they have to give you as part of your insurance what they call catastrophic ground collapse insurance. That is not sinkhole insurance. That's different. If you want sinkhole insurance, that's extra. I'm just going to say, for me to sleep well at night, and Sue, we have both catastrophic and we have sinkhole insurance, and I paid extra so not to have this $50,000 co-payment to go with your sinkhole insurance. In other words, it can cost literally tens upon tens upon tens upon thousands of dollars to repair a sinkhole. That has nothing to do with your house insurance. Sinkholes fixes sinkholes. House insurance fixes house insurance. So here's a little tip. If you come down here and you buy a house that comes either with or without a swimming pool, you check with your insurance when it comes to the sinkhole insurance or the catastrophic ground insurance, and you make sure that swimming pool is covered under those two circumstances. Because I've heard more and more reports that the swimming pool was an add-on, and if you don't put that on your insurance, it's not covered. Just a little tip. It says in May, a water break in the village of Mira Mesa created a sinkhole which swallowed a vehicle. That's really not a sinkhole. That was the water washing the sand away. I'm sorry, but I see the difference here. And I'm not selling newspapers, so I don't have to write up a sensationalism article to get something sold. Community Development District 3 supervisors were updated on the repair of a sinkhole near village of Summerhill Postal Station. The sinkhole was blamed on a defective pipe. It's not a sinkhole. In May, a water main break in the village of Mira Mesa creating a sinkhole which swallowed a vehicle. Last year, John and Robin Susky of the village of Pennycamp filed a lawsuit seeking $30,000 for damages to their home caused by sinkholes they claim came from a stormwater drain from a golf course at Crane Gardens Country Club. Major sinkhole opened up February 15th, 2018 in the village of Calumet. It goes on and on and on talking about all these different sinkholes. I can show a couple of pictures here that they've got on here to show you what I believe a true sinkhole is. A sinkhole to me is something in nature. A pipe breaking, washing sand away, causing a collapse of, say, a street or something, that's man-made. So that's not a sinkhole. Chula Vista Recreation Center and Pool to be closed for maintenance. That's something they do here, I'm going to say once, maybe even twice a year. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't pay attention to it, but it's once or twice a year. Is the village's recreation department, which I think that's what it is, the recreation department. Their budget is so much money a year, but they do, in my mind, they do a remarkable job in keeping the swimming pools, the area around the pool, the restrooms, all that kind of thing, in very, very good, very, very clean shape. I have no complaints about that. I got to tell you, I'm reading every story here about the villages, and I don't hardly see a good one. I get blamed a lot for saying I pick out these certain stories to make things look bad. I do not. What I'm doing here is kind of reading the news. The people that live here probably don't care one way or another about what I'm doing here on this channel right now, as far as the news goes. But people that don't live here, and people that has considered moving here, they probably don't get a lot of this news or don't have access. An 89-year-old villager who can have contact with his daughter again following his arrest in May after an altercation over his wife's care. John Gilbert Breen of the village of Amelia had been barred from contact with his daughter, who has been assisting with care of her mother. The daughter had arrived at her parents' home on Kenwood Loop on May 29th and found her mother wandering in the front yard, according to the arrest report from Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The daughter had been called to the home by a caretaker who said she needed help. It's getting ready to rain. Wind's starting to blow. May have to pause this and shut the sliding doors here. But until it starts to rain, I'm going to enjoy the breeze. A daughter entered the home and asked Breen why he wasn't assisting the caretaker. Breen grabbed his daughter by the nose and told her, "If you touch me, I'll kill you." He followed up by punching her arm with his fist. The report said when deputies arrived on the scene, they found the Dayton, Ohio native sitting on a chair on the front porch of his home. He was arrested on charge of battery. You know, listen, if you've never been there, I have. I'm not going to say much about this. What he done is wrong. It is. But I don't know what his daughter may or may not have said also. I'm assuming it sounds like dementia or Alzheimer's for mom. And it's stressful. It's hard. He might have been at his wit's end, wore out, tired, whatever, doing everything he can possibly do. There might be some financial issues here also that weighs a lot on him, paying the bill for assisted living and people coming to the house. I don't know. But his daughter came to help. That's fine. My son came to help me with Dad when I needed it. But I don't know what the daughter said. Sounds like she started jumping all over him about Mom being out in the front yard and somebody had to call and so on and so forth. And all that's true. But the old guy might have had all he could take. He might have just been wore out. So I cut him some slack. I do. Alzheimer's is tough. Villagers oft arrested son has been arrested on fresh drug charges. Richard Street, 41, was arrested Friday night by Wildwood police on charges of drug possession and possession of drug equipment. He was booked on $3,000 bond at the Sumter County Detention Center. Street, who lives with his mother at 3158 Gooding Place in the village of Polo Ridge, has a long history of local arrests. The Washington, D.C. native was arrested this past April with a backpack which contained needles and scoops with a white powdery residue. He was also driving on suspended license. Street was arrested last year after stealing his mother's Ford Escape from her home a day after his father's funeral. Street was arrested in 2019 at the wheel of the same Ford Escape. Sounds like a real winner, huh? No. Brinson Perry Dog Park closed through end of July. I'm going to guess probably for maintenance. Here's a letter to the editor I'm going to read in between all this. I keep seeing more and more letters to the editor regarding deed compliance issues. I too have issues with homes in my neighborhood. One has had a large dumpster parked in the driveway for months with no work being done on the sinkhole damaged home from years ago. I've been in contact with the manager of community standards, and all you get is the runaround. My last email was sent 5 days ago with no response. There is another home directly across the street from me that has been vacant for 2 years. The grass is a foot tall, the shrubs cover the windows, and when we call about it, nothing is done. Yet someone put a small white cross on the lawn, and it becomes a large issue. I'm told by the direct supervisor that by the state of Florida statutes, legally, they can't get involved with deed compliance issues until the deed compliance department has done all it can do to resolve the issue. How long will that take? That was sent in by Bernie Roberts, village of Calumet Grove. Oh, I so bad want to make a comment on that, but I can't. Oh. Here's a good one. I keep saying it over and over again. Common sense. Just common sense. Let me ask you guys a personal question that's watching this. When you come here, this is always called God's waiting room, right? This is, generally speaking, the last move we make before we die. Have you made your arrangements so nobody has to pick up after you? When you die, if you die tomorrow, who are you going to leave your house to? Is it in writing right now? Do you have it in a will? Somebody going to get your house, take care of it, inherit it? Your bank accounts, life insurance policies, things of that nature? Here's something I never thought of. Ooh. That must be a long ways off because I don't hear the boomer yet. Boy, what a lightning that was. Here it is. I'm saying that must have struck something. Okay, let me read this to you. Just food for thought. That's all I'm saying. I'm not poking fun. I'm not poking fingers. I'm just saying, have you thought about it? Seriously. These things happen here all the time. Fairly regular. And as our population gets older in each section, you see things popping up all the time. An official with the Homeowners Association in the Villages is worried about urns of ashes of the dead owners of a home found in violation of deed compliance. The abandoned home at 611 and Canto Street, Canto Street, in the San Antonio Villas was the subject of a public hearing Friday morning before the Community Development District Board 1 of Supervisors. In the meeting at Savannah Center, overgrown grass and weeds at the home prompted a complaint to be lodged April 29th with community standards. The violation was verified the following day. A lot of grass, a lot of weeds around the house. It looks pretty bad. Harry and Hendrika Sheffer purchased the villa in 1996, the same year it was built. They are both deceased, and all emergency contacts have been disconnected, according to community standards. Steve Eddy, E-D-D-Y, Steve Eddy of the HOA at the San Antonio Villas addressed the board with concerns about the deceased owners. He said a neighbor has keys to the villa, and during a recent check on the property, the urns containing the remains of the Sheffers were discovered in the home. I would hate to see whoever takes ownership of the home throw those ashes away, Eddie said. I had hoped CD1 supervisors might have a lead on contact information for relatives of the deceased couple. There does not appear to be a mortgage on the property. The utilities have been shut off, and the property taxes for 2019 and 2020 have not been paid. The board found the property to be in violation of deed compliance. The board granted 3 days to bring the property into compliance. If it is not brought into compliance, a $250 fine will be imposed, followed by $250 fines each time the district forces to cut the grass. I don't really have a response to that. I don't know what to say. Well, I was going to read that article to you there, but it's like a book. And when you read it, whoever wrote that article, it's like an argument in court. This guy said, then this person said, then this guy said, and then that person said, and then this guy's. I'm not interested in reading those kind of things. I'll just read you the headline. Residents of the Villages upset about confiscation of patriotic banners. Sumter County budget proposes change in emergency medical dispatching. Abandoned property in foreclosure becomes eyesore in the Villages. I've seen this on here 2 or 3 times, and it is an eyesore. And once again, have you got your arrangements made? If you're moving here, if you died tomorrow, who's mowing your grass? If you die tomorrow, who's going to take care of your house? You got to know these things. Don't leave that with your neighbor. I would never dream of abandoning this home and putting this problem on my neighbors in this neighborhood, even though an abandoned property in foreclosure has become an eyesore in the Villages. The property at 718 Santa Fe Street in the village of Summerhill. The Village of Della Vista South resident has been appointed to fill a vacancy on the Community Development District 1 Board of Supervisors. Rocky Hyder was chosen Friday to fill the vacancy created earlier this year by the resignation of Tom Pappen, who moved out of the Villages. Prior to retirement, Hyder worked as a county emergency services director in Henderson County, North Carolina. Before that, he was a firefighter and a fire marshal. Hyder said that if CD1 needs anything, it's access to more walking paths and sidewalks. He said he realizes that is outside the normal purview of CD1, but said he believes that the addition of walking opportunities would promote good health and improve the quality of life. That suggestion prompted Supervisor Ellen Cora to seize on a topic of which she was warned about for years: the dangers on Morris Boulevard north of County Road 466. Cora attempted to enlist Hyder to join in her mission of persuading the Sumter County Commission to widen Morris Boulevard. She said the addition of a massive new apartment complex on County Road 466 at Cherry Lake Road has further burdened the already busy thoroughfare. Hyder apparently shares Cora's concerns. It clearly is a concern. Statistically, we have the data on accidents on that roadway to take to the commissioners. They need to understand this is a concern that needs to be addressed. Earlier this year, a New Yorker in a golf cart died after a crash involving a Mercedes on Morris Boulevard. That section they're talking about, I used to work at them guard shacks once in a while. I was a relief guy, so when a guy needed a couple of days off or whatever, they sent me up there to do his job at the gates. I've worked at the gate guard by the hospital, and I've worked at the gate guard by 466. And that thoroughfare right through there is not only probably some of the busiest in all of the villages, probably because of the hospital. It's also one of the most dangerous. I've drove my golf cart up there, and I've mentioned it on some of my golf cart riding videos, if you guys have ever watched them, that I don't like taking my golf cart up there for several reasons. One, at the stoplight there, I think at Rio Grande, I think that's where it's at, there's a dip right there on that road that if you get the light green, and if you're going, say, 20 mile an hour and you're a golf cart and you're not paying attention, it's very possible that dip could either flip you over on your side, or it can cause you to kind of lose a little control and maybe drive your golf cart off into the ditch. I mean, it's dangerous, and they're not going to do anything about it. It's there. Been there for years. Second is, people that drive up and down that road right there, going to and from work probably at the hospital, I'm guessing, I don't know. A lot of them just don't pay attention. I mean, I've watched my rearview mirror constantly, and when I say rearview mirror, I'm talking about the one on the driver's side, not the one up here that most people want to look at to, comb their hair, the one on the outside, that one that goes down the road. And I watch people behind me coming up on me all the time. That's what I'm doing, because I've seen so much stuff on that road that's just crazy. The police doesn't really monitor that road very much, and they should. But what they do is they go up there with a sheriff's car, and they park it somewhere. I've even seen them take that sheriff's car and park it up there, and I think put a dummy in it. There's nobody there, and everybody knows that. They drive way too fast on that road. I think the speed limit on that road is like, I want to say 30, 35. No, ain't nobody going 35 on that road. They're always going 45, 50, and faster. I've seen them do it. Now, keep in mind, you're sharing your golf cart with these people on that road. Sometimes they pass you. Your golf cart is literally inches away from a car passing you right there. That road not only needs to be widened, that golf cart lane, as far as I'm concerned, needs to be put over into the grass off to the right, because there's plenty of room for it over there. Is it going to cost money? It is. But there have been 2 deaths that I know of, maybe more than that if you go back, and I want to say 3, but I'm hesitant. I'll say 2. And there have been multiple accidents on that road. How much is a man's life worth? A child's life? And because people go down that road all the time with their grandchildren in the back of a golf cart, and it just does not make sense to me that over the years that area of road hasn't been updated. And there's a roundabout at the end of that. The golf cart and the cars share a roundabout with 2, maybe 3. I'll say at least 2. There's 4 exits off a roundabout. We all know that, but I'm gonna say 2 major exits. One takes you over to the hospital. The other exit takes you straight out to a stoplight there at 27 and 441. Those 2 right there. Well, your golf cart lane does not have right-of-way. And so these cars that's zooming around this roundabout, and half of them do not live here. They just use these roads as shortcuts to get to and from work. They're coming around that roundabout, and if you take your golf cart and go across there, and if you're not looking over your left shoulder for a car coming out that roundabout, boom, you're probably going to be killed right there. And I just don't know. I don't understand it. Now, everywhere else in the villages, when they put in roundabouts, the cars and golf carts do not share a roundabout. If a golf cart trail has a roundabout on it, it's for golf carts only. And the cars out front are not for golf carts either. The car roundabouts on Morris on Buena Vista, they are not for golf carts. Now, there are some street legal carts. I've already given my opinion about those. do what you want, take your life in your own hands. That's totally up to you. But if you get hurt, like my mom used to say, don't come crying home. So, but the golf carts do not share a roundabout. Let me put it to you this way. If you're down here visiting Grandma and Grandpa, and you leave the square, say down Brownwood, and you're heading home in the middle of the night, and I know how people get lost at night because nothing's lit up around here, and you can't find the golf cart trail. If you get to a big roundabout and there's cars in it or whatever, and you're in a golf cart, you are in the wrong place and you need to get out of there ASAP. That's all I got to say. Sawyer Villas residents are frustrated with the unexplained deterioration of their streets and sidewalks. Residents spoke out Friday before the Community Development District Board 4 of Supervisors. Our street has major issues. We have cracking in the streets and our sidewalks are buckling, said Rosemary Williams, who lives in Xena Lane. Other residents said they fear that a drainage issue is causing the problem. Bruce Brown of District Property Management said an engineer has been looking into the issues being experienced in the villa community. Sawyer Villas were constructed less than 5 years ago as an addition to CDD4 along with the Phillips Villas. It seems like this is another time we bought something from the developer and we are going to end up eating it, said Supervisor Cliff Weiner. That could be true. I don't want to say that. Everybody has a tendency to want to blame the developer for everything, just kind of like everything in the world, whatever's going on in your life, whatever going on in your neighbor's life that you don't like, somehow, some way, it always ends up being the president's fault. And I don't fall for any of that. I don't like hearing it. I don't want to talk about it because it's all BS. And if you don't think it's BS, then really you probably shouldn't be watching me at all, because I'm going to tell you it's BS. Just like blaming everything on the developer, that's not all him. It's a corporation here. He doesn't have the say all about everything here. It's a corporation. So, but I will say this. That's not the first time I've seen inadequate construction issues in a new area. I didn't really do a video, but I made a couple of comments when I did a golf cart ride. I went down to the village of Hawkins when it was new, and I've never been on that golf cart trail, and I noticed something right off the get-go as soon as I got across that new bridge. But I never said anything. I just kept going, and then I kept looking at it, and I kept watching it, and then I got to a certain area. I actually got out, and I investigated it closer. And then I made a statement on that video. You may have to go back and look for it, I don't know. Or I may go down with my golf cart and make another video more in depth showing you what I'm talking about. I said it's just a matter of time that when the developer's offices turns over the districts to the residents, where now they have to start paying for things. You guys are going to be replacing them golf cart trails. You're going to spend a lot of money on them golf cart trails. They're going to corrode fast because they didn't put, I don't know what you call it, I'll say a concrete ribbon that goes around the edge of the golf cart trail and goes all the way down. That concrete ribbon is very important because what it does is kind of like having mulch in your flower beds. If you don't put a brick wall or something around that flower bed, what happens to that mulch over time? It gets washed out into the grass. And that brick barrier keeps that mulch in place. And that's what that concrete barrier does. Asphalt is soft. It moves. And with that on the edge right there, people's going to be going on and off the golf cart. They just will. They'll stop in the grass over here so they can talk on their phone. And that's fine. That's what you should do. If your phone rings and you're on your golf cart, you need to pull off into a grassy area, get out of everybody's way, answer your phone, do what you got to do. Well, down there, they don't have this ribbon, this concrete ribbon. And every time you go off that golf cart path, a little piece of that asphalt's going to chip away, just a little bit at a time. Years from now, the edge of your golf cart path is going to be disastrous. It's all going to have to be redone. and it's going to be literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. And a big argument is going to be at your board of supervisors about how to fix it. Maybe we should hire an engineering company to come in for hundreds of thousands of dollars to survey all this problem and to fix it properly. I'm saying if it's the developer's problem, and I don't know that it is, but it is his offices that approved all that stuff, you should hold their feet to the fire now. Make them fix that, because it's going to cost you, man. But he's already sold the houses, so really he's kind of got his money. So I don't know how you would do it. I'm not a lawyer, but there's going to be problems down there on them golf cart trails. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. 84-year-old villager lands back behind bars after skipping court dates. This guy, I'll put the picture up here somewhere here. I don't know where. But this guy's been arrested so many times. I don't know what his game is. I don't know if he's got a mental issue or whatever, but over the years he's been arrested for trespass, failure to appear, went back to one of the, I think Spanish Springs Town Square, and he was trespassing from there, and the police officer escorted him out, and then they arrested him the next time he come back. And this guy's a character. Let's do another letters to the editor real quick, and then I'm going to end this video and put it up on Friday and see how it goes. To the editor, just read a story in the Village's Daily Sun concerning our county commissioners and their fight to help citizens get a fair shake on the property taxes. One of the commissioners, I'll let you guess which one, is quoted as saying, "A fee is what you call it when you don't want to call it a tax." Just the opposite is true. The developer's puppet has been credited for continuously calling impact fees taxes simply because that's what he's been told to say, and people don't like their property taxes being raised. One of the several misleading statements made in the piece, let me make it as simple as possible. Impact fees are a one-time fee paid to offset the cost of building infrastructure required to support an endeavor. Property taxes are paid annually every year to support the welfare of the people. That's the end of today's lesson. Lou Maruzzo, the Village of Amelia. Thank you, Lou, for your comment. Oh, here's an interesting article about older athletes can continue to compete. And yes, they can. And we have the Senior Olympics here. And I was going to read it to you because I thought, well, this would be a nice one. But once again, they wrote a book, and I'm not going to read this. It's just too much. People need to learn how to downsize. You generally can say something in a matter of a couple of paragraphs to get your point across. Fishhawk Recreation Center and Family Pool will be closed Tuesday. Maintenance. A candidate for a vacancy on the Community Development District Board 7 Board of Supervisors has aired his beliefs about the developer and the Morris Boulevard Bridge. That Morris Boulevard Bridge is kind of a sensitive subject with me. Gilbert Windsor of the Village of Bonita is one of the two applicants for the vacancy on the board created earlier this year by the resignation of Supervisor Dennis Broadland. Well, let me just say, I think you've started off on the wrong foot real quick if you're looking to be part of this board. Just saying. The other applicant is Joy Lewis, who could not be present at CDD 7's meeting on Thursday morning at Savannah Center. Windsor was interviewed by the board and did not hold back on his feelings when it comes to the developer and the bridge, topics tied to the number one issue on CDD 7's plate. The future of the project-wide advisory committee. I'm not against the developer. I'm totally against greed, Windsor said. I don't care about the Morris family. Let them make all the money they want. but I'm sick of the greed. He explained that the developer is free to engage in the profitable business of building and selling homes, but pushing the 25% tax increase through the Sumter County Commission in 2019 for the construction of roads south of State Road 44 was not appropriate. I agree. Windsor was active in the 2020 campaign, which swept in 3 new commissioners. Windsor also pointed to the Morse Boulevard Bridge, where PWAC has agreed to spend more than $1 million of residents' money to shore up the embankment. The bridge is a sore subject with me, Windsor said. He said he has contacted the Florida Department of Transportation for dates and information about the construction of the bridge. He indicated he'd like to get to the bottom of what truly happened to cause the sloughing of the bridge embankment. Morse should be responsible for that bridge. He built it, Windsor said. The former Maryland resident may have hit a snag with the board over the future of PWAC. He said he favors withdrawing from PWAC, which eats up 49% of the CDD7 budget. We can take care of ourselves, Windsor said. However, CDD7 board chairman Jerry Vicente pointed out that supervisors aren't looking to exit PWAC, which pools the resources of the Community Development District south of County Road 466 to pay for joint infrastructure. We don't want to get out of PWAC. We just want to change the language of the agreement, Vincenti said. CDD7 supervisor went out and hired independent legal counsel in an effort to change the language of the 20-year PWAC agreement. The supervisors believe that the word advisory cedes all the power to the Sumter Landing Community Development District Board of Supervisors, made of individuals who are hand-picked by the developer. The CDD7 Board of Supervisors opted to delay the selection of the new supervisor until August, when both candidates can be present. Well, good luck. Okay, I believe that's it. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I just kind of included letters to the editor with the Village's news. So, with that being said, see you guys on the other side.